Just a bunch of lawless, gun-hating crooks. Now, here's the deal. They've had national surveys where over 98%. In fact, call Jack McClam. Let's get him on about this today, too. That's why I canceled guests today, so we can get into the Second Amendment under attack. There have been countless cases of where they do this and where they just teach police that guns are illegal when they're not. But normally they pass a fake ordinance that's unconstitutional under the federal and state constitution. This is the feds coming in, and then I have the Council of Governors being set up by Obama, merging it with PDD 51, open takeover of the states, mainstream news pointing out this is total federalization, total takeover. We've got them training the Boy Scout Explorer clubs now being taken over from the Boy Scouts by the feds and by big police departments like the LAPD. And then you read the news articles and see police photos of the training. They're training 14, 15, 16-year-olds to, quote, take on disgruntled vets that own guns. Remember the Homeland Security MIAC reports, where Homeland Security's internal reports say they're setting up to go after American gun owners, and then American gun owners, and especially returning vets, are the number one threat to the government? You see, they can't pass laws against your Second Amendment. We're beating them there. And so they just do it outside the law. But you've got 98% of police in national surveys against gun control. They don't like what's happening, but the commanders are criminals. The commanders are thugs. It's illegal. How do you even get words to describe this level of criminal government? I mean, there's no doubt on every issue, local government has been federalized in almost every big city. Many rural areas, they have regular Army, Marines running checkpoints all over the country. The governors say don't do it in Tennessee. The feds still do it. It's in the newspaper. I have state reps on fighting it. Just the Army comes out and shuts down highways and starts searching people. I mean, the government is a criminal enterprise. They've stolen $28+ trillion in the last year and 2 months. Obama's federalizing the governors publicly with an executive order, saying they federalize police and local state military. It's incredible. The cybersecurity czar resigns last year and says the Pentagon is secretly taking over the web. I talked to high-level IT people in Chicago, in Austin, in San Francisco, in Oakland, in Dallas. And they say suddenly all the networks are being run through huge new government hubs, tracking everything, where they can shut the web off whenever they want. The White House says they may do it. That's CNET News. It's really happening. And the public, the general public, is awakening to the fact that the government's corrupt, but they have no idea how bad it is. And they're literally from birth set in their diapers in front of the television set, so people get home at 6 o'clock. Their kids get home from the government training center. They cook dinner. Everybody gets in front of the television show, watches their favorite shows, and then everybody goes to bed, gets up in the morning, takes their Prozac, and we've just been incrementally brought into this, but it's no longer incremental. They are now racing. A great article by Kurt Nimmo at Infowars.com. We're going to take the audio today of this show and post it there for everybody where I really break down what's happening. I got caught unaware live with a caller about the Texas gun shows that came to Austin and how they were just outside of the law, just ordered by men in uniforms with guns. You will not allow anyone to have private transfers of firearms here, which is a violation of state law. And we went to their website, and they say it on their website. We got the public notice, the actual copies being handed out. It's at Infowars.com. And I last night watched the video of my simulcast of the radio, and I didn't even really make the key points. I was so beside myself with frothing anger. The most highly decorated police officer in Phoenix, Arizona history, Jack McClam, founder of Police and Military Against the New World Order 27 years ago. He's been warning about this. He'll join us in the next hour to talk about this some. I want to go to your phone calls now, specifically about going to gun shows and how they're getting your license numbers, your social security numbers. They're saying you're not allowed to have private sales of guns outside the law. They're now busting people everywhere without even a law. They just trump up other charges and falsely charge people for other laws for selling their neighbors' guns. They're now outside the law ordering gun shops all over the country. Started with Walmart 5 years ago to just get your license number and scan your license when you buy ammo. I mean, it's just totally illegal. But to show up and say any person selling a personal firearm must go through a licensed FFL dealer in the show to transfer the firearm to a new owner. Must. No law, no code, no local ordinance. See, again, normally they get a local ordinance passed, then it gets overturned as unconstitutional at the state level. Because cities can't pass laws outside the state constitution. Their cities and counties are chartered by the state. That's how this is lawless. This is the government so arrogant. The police, the APD, the BATF know this is illegal. But they're confident they can just get away with it, just like private banks could control the Fed and the Treasury and openly give themselves 200+ billion of the trillions to their own personal bonuses. Geithner, Paulson, Summers, all of them giving themselves bonuses from the government they run. Totally illegal. Be like a bank manager going in and giving themselves $1 million out of the vault. It's illegal. Doesn't matter if you say you're the bank manager. You can't do that. I mean, the point is they are engaged in open crime in front of everyone. And I'm sure that the Attorney General will come down on them as they have before in other states and in this state and say you can't do that. But Austin doesn't care. BATF doesn't care. They don't even care what the Attorney General says. By the way, who was that conservative state senator we've had on? His name escapes me. I had him on last year about the gun grabbing. I want to get him back on. I want to get the pro-gun state senators. Go to the Texas Rifle Association. Go to the Texas Association. We got to get them on. We've got to really make a big deal out of this, or it won't create enough of a ruckus. I just can't believe this. I mean, this is an illegitimate, lawless city I live in. I mean, 2 years ago, they started taking blood at checkpoints without warrants, and I pointed out this is illegal. So they went to the legislature, and the legislature passed a law that they can take blood without warrants. The police. Now, that's unconstitutional at the federal level, and the Texas Supreme Court, it looks like, is going to strike it down. But the point is, they're trying all this illegalness. But this isn't even the legislature passing an unconstitutional act. Then it's just unconstitutional. This is the city of Austin and R.A. Saveda under the federal control of the BATFE announcing that they can do whatever they want. You know, I like Kurt Nimmo's headline, but we need to make the point in here, editor's note, Kurt, that this is clearly illegal. This is not under the state constitution. This is not under a state law. The city is operating illegally. The BATF is in here engaged in high treason. The feds are in my town with no law, no statute, no power. And the good news is the gun show was there, getting people to sign a petition. I'm working on getting them on. Getting locals to sign petitions to go to the Attorney General to stop Austin and the feds from just showing up. I mean, if they can get away with this, they can get away with anything. Remember the Kilo, Connecticut, the Kilo, New London, Connecticut decision of 5 years ago, where they said, we can take your property without just compensation. That was in the Supreme Court ruling, and it even said in the ruling, I read it on air many times, we spent months on it, fighting it, and then in the aftermath, saying private interests can give money, it's not bribery now, to local city, county, or state governments to take your property without payment. In fact, I interviewed the families who lived in 2, 3, 4 generation, beautiful Victorian-style homes on the water. Houses valued at $600,000, $1,100,000. They didn't just not get payment. They told them 2 years before they took it, if you fight this in court, we're going to come back with attorney's fees from the state and the city and charge you. And so one family had their $600,000 house bulldozed and got a $300,000+ bill from the lawyers. So you don't just get your land taken, you pay to have it taken. You pay to be a slave. You pay to be raped.